Also, I would like to talk a bit about NLP and humanistic psychology.
接下来呢，我想谈论一点关于 NLP 和人本主义心理学。
And I would like to read a couple of things that I think that because most of you are going to be discussing humanistic psychology here along this week.
我想做一些简短的那个介绍，因为我相信你们这周好像大部分时间都会探讨关于人本主义心理学的内容。
And in my understanding,
在
NLP goes on with all psychologies.
我的理解中呢 ，NLP 和所有的这个心理学家都可以挂钩。
But considering humanistic psychology specifically,
但是呢，尤其是呢这个人本主义心理学。
NLP emphasizes self-direction.
NLP 强调一个人们的自我的引导、自我指引。
NLP's goal is to make the client less dependent on the therapist.
NLP 的目标呢，就是使来访者尽量减少对治疗师的依赖。
This way, they can anticipate anxiety attacks, panic reactions, etc.
这就使他们可以预见焦虑症的发作，然后他们出现恐慌时，他们的恐慌反应的发作等。
This is consistent with humanistic psychology's emphasis on clients' autonomy.
这与人本主义心理学强调的当事人的那个自主性是一致的。
Humanistic psychology focused on each individual's potential and stressed the importance of growth and self-actualization.
人本主义心理学它侧重于就是每个人自己的潜力，强调成长和自我实现的重要性。
And NLP will help you to do that somehow.
而 NLP 呢，也会在某种程度上帮助你做这些事。
The fundamental belief of humanistic psychology is that people are. Okay, let's just wait a bit. That people are innately good, and that mental and social problems result from deviations from this natural tendency.
而人本主义心理学的一个根本的信念就是人性本善，精神和社会问题是由于偏离这种自然倾向而产生。
And Richard Bandler keeps repeating all the time.
Richard Bandler 他其实在不停的重复这些。
That no one is wrong or broken.
没有任何人是错误的，或者是没有希望。
That people work perfectly, they function perfectly, even if they are doing something that is ruining their lives.
即使人们正在做着一些正在破坏他们生活的事情，在毁掉他们生活的事情，其实呢，他们的功能也是最完美的。
You're not broken, you are just repeating something that you learned, and you can learn something else.
你之所以在破坏你的生活，是因为你在不停的重复一些你的那个模式，但是你可以去尝试一些其他的模式。
Yes, that's basically the connection.
这是一些最基本的这个连接。
So I think that if you are humanistic psychologists, you can use some NLP techniques here and there to help your clients to give them more autonomy.
所以刚才讲的就是 NLP 和人本主义心理学一些最基本的联系。然后，所以如果你是一个人本主义心理学家，其实你也可以在工作中使用这个 NLP 的一些这些方法来使你的来访者更加有自主性。
Okay. I think we can go on because it's sort of the same thing we said, so that we can move for the practice. So what are fears, phobia, and anxiety?
所以害怕、恐怖和焦虑到底是什么呢？
There's not a simple answer to this.
对于这些，其实没有一个简单的答案。
According to NLP, we have to understand that it was one of the most important things that I've learned.
所以通过那个根据 NLP 呢，
I learned something very important.
我
for my life.
我从我的生活中学到了一些非常重要的事情。
I don't have anxiety. I don't have anxiety.
我没有那个焦虑，
I do anxiety.
我在做这个焦虑，
And
我在经历焦虑之中。
we refer to those things as if they were objects.
我们提到这些事情的时候，就好像它们是一个客观的物体。
When I have a report with a client,
当我和我的这个来访者做一个报告的时候，
and they say, I have anxiety,
他们就说我有一个焦虑。
I ask the lady, for instance, if I have a client who is a lady, I ask her, is it in your purse?
然后，如果我的来访者是一个女性的话，我就问她：“你这个焦虑在你钱包里吗？”
It's a little joke so that she can understand the concept.
它是一个笑话，但是你可以看到这个，理解到我所表达这个概念。
It's important that you understand that you do those things. You repeat patterns. You keep repeating things inside. That's why you have it.
所以你就可以看到这个模式，就是你在不停的重复它，你在你的内在不停的重复它，所以最后它就在你内在就形成了这么一个东西。
It was very important to me in my life to understand it. I don't have those things. I do those things.
所以这对我的人生来说，这一点对我来说非常的重要。我并不是有这些事情，而是说我正在做这些事情。
Because if you understand that you are doing those things, you are creating it.
因为如果你了解到你正在做这些事情，那么你就是在创造。
I can do something else.
我可以做一些其他的事情。
We help the person to understand, for instance, the structure of the anxiety, for instance.
比如说，我们可以让这个帮助我们的来访者了解到我们刚才讲的这些那个结构。
Do you remember? That thing is here inside of me. It's bothering me. It's bothering me. It's a structure, an image, very close.
你还记得刚才我们讲到的，就是我们来访者他说啊，有一个东西在我的内在眼前，就有这么一个东西，它沉沉的压着我。
We discuss possibilities for that person to do other things with his mind. We help them to do other things inside.
所以我们要帮助来访者在他的内在去做一些其他的事情。
Another thing that is very important is that some people, they identify themselves with the problem.
还有一些
They kind of they mix the problem with their identity.
有一些人呢，他们会觉得他们把这些问题和他们自己那个人、他们的个人联系在了一起。
I am depressive.
我是抑郁。
I have panic. I'm a phobic.
我是恐慌。
It's important that you understand what happens in your life, of course.
所以了解到在你生活中发生了什么是很重要的。
But it's also important that you understand that you can do other things. You are not phobic. You're doing phobia. What if you understand? I'm not phobic, but I'm doing phobia. I'm developing. I'm not phobic. I'm doing phobia.
但了解到你可以做其他的事情也是非常重要的。我并不是这个恐怖，我是正在做恐怖，是我自己创造的这个恐怖的过程。我不是恐怖。
We should try to focus on understanding what we are doing inside the strategies.
我们所做的呢，就是试着去了解我们在内部我们正在做的是什么。
And determine what we want instead of the problem. What do you want instead of that?
然后去决定那个除了这个问题之外，你还想要什么？你想要的究竟是什么？
also it's important that you understand what depends on you to change the problem.
当然，还有一个就是你要了解到，就是去改变这个事情的过程，就是为了改变这个事情，你可以做什么？
When do you want to change? How do you want to change? What do you want to change?
你什么时候想改变？你想怎么改变？你想改变什么？
This is kind of thing that we help the clients to overcome.
所以这就是我们想要做，这是我们做的事情，来帮助来访者去克服这些困难。
Okay, now let's start with the first pattern, with the first technique that we're going to do here.
所以呢，让我们开始我们第一个环节就是我们。
This first pattern is a pattern developed by Robert Dilts.
这个第一个环节呢是 Robert Dilts 他发明的。
Robert Dilts was in the NLP, Pioneiro and Pioneiro since the beginning. This gentleman, Robert Dilts, he was in the NLP since the beginning.
他这个 Richard Bandler Dilts Robert Dilts 呢，他自从这个 NLP 创建的时候，他就已经在这个流派里。
He's considered perhaps the third more important person in NLP after Bandler and Pioneiro.
除了那个刚才那个 Bandler 和还有一个人之外，他可能被认为是 NLP 第三个重要的人。
And this pattern that he developed is to deal with symptoms.
所以他这个环节呢，他发明的这个环节呢，就是和我们的症状开始进行对话。
It will help you to investigate how are you dealing with symptoms that you have. It will help you to understand the symptoms that you have.
他就帮助你去了解呢，就是去探索那个你现在所有的那个症状。
The way you communicate with yourself relating to symptoms.
你和你内在关于这个症状的之间，就是你关于这个症状，你和你的内在之间是怎么沟通的？
It doesn't matter if the symptom is more physiological or psychological. It's all the same thing. Psychological things and physiological things. It doesn't matter.
就是这个症状，无论是心理的症状还是这个生理的症状，其实都无所谓。
You can always respond in another way.
你永远都可以以另一个方式对它做出回应。
Okay? Does anybody here have any symptom of anything, physical or apart from me? Physical. I now have the jet lag of hours flying. It's better now. But does anyone feel any symptom? Which symptom do you still?
所以任何人有任何的症状吗？大家想问一下。
我觉得我就是总是觉得自己不好吧，就自我怀疑、自我否定。
I always think that I'm not good enough. I always doubt myself and deny myself.
Okay, this we could relate to self-esteem or something like that. If anyone here has any symptom, I'm going to apply the pattern in all of you together at the same time.
所以这可能是跟那个自尊有关的一个感受。所以如果在场还有大家有其他人有这种感觉、这种想法的话，我们可以围成一个团体来，然后再用在这个环节做这个工作。
All you have to do is to have in mind a symptom that is bothering you.
所有你们需要做的呢，就是在脑中一直在，就是在你们脑中，就是保持着你的那个你现在有的那个症状，让它一直在你脑海里，一直想着那个症状。
I'm not going to say for sure that you're going to change it today.
我没法说，我今天保证说，我今天一定能帮你改变它。
I'm going to say that you're going to know more about yourself.
我想说，但是你今天会更多的了解你自己。
Okay, this is the time for you to relax. Those of you who are taking notes, I'm going through the pattern after that. But in this first moment, I want you all to just relax and go with me in the exercise. If you want, you can do whatever you want.
所以呢，接下来就是大家放松的时刻了。所以我希望你们能尽可能的放松。我知道你们也有愿意想记笔记的，也可以。但我希望你们最主要的就是能把自己放松下来，然后我们做任何你想做的事情。
But I would strongly suggest that you put your notebook away and relax.
我就希望你们能把所有的都放在一边，然后放松下来。
Apart from you. Okay, so sit in a comfortable position. If you can, and take a deep breath. You can go to the next, and you have to be awakened too.
所以坐在一个舒适的凳子上，然后深呼吸。
Okay, now just take a deep breath
那现在
and
呢？
relax.
现在深呼吸，然后放松。
下一个。
And I'm going to ask you now to close your eyes and take a deep breath and think about the symptom or problem that is bothering you.
所以现在我希望你们放松下来，然后闭上你们的眼睛，然后想你的那个一直在困扰你们的那个症状。
Okay. Think about the problem. According to NLP and also other psychologies,
想象那个问题，想象那个症状，然后根据 NLP 还有其他的那个心理学家，
symptoms are a form of communication.
症状呢其实是沟通的一个方式。
There is a communication inside going on.
在你的内在呢，其实是有一些沟通正在进行的。
It's like someone is trying to send you an email or a fax.
它就好像有一个人在试着给你发一封邮件，或者在告诉你一个事情。
And that's what we're going to do to try to understand which communication is this one inside.
所以我们需要做的呢，就是去理解这个我们内在的这个沟通，它到底是什么。
So think about the symptom that you are still having.
想象这个你目前还依然存有的这个症状，
And imagine somehow that an energy goes from inside of you where you're feeling the symptom,
然后想象的那个你所感觉到的那个症状的那个位置。
let's say I have a headache. My head is aching.
比如说，我说我的头特别疼，
Let's imagine that an energy gets out from the head to outside.
让我们想象一下，有一个让我们疼的这个位置，头疼这个位置有一股能量冲过我们的大脑出来。
Imagine that the symptom is getting out of your body,
想象这个症状现在正在慢慢离开你的身体，
and it starts creating something outside your body.
它开始在你的身体之外开始创造一个图像。
Just be very intuitive. Just let it happen. Just have the experience here.
仅仅是不必那么理性的去思考，仅仅是依靠你的直觉。
Imagine that an image is starting to appear in front of you,
想象在你的面前正在出现一幅画面，
it is the symptom that was inside of you. Now it's outside.
它曾经是你体内的一幅画面，但现在它在你的体外呈现，出来。
Start paying attention in the size and the colors of that image.
关注于你这个图像、这个图片的它的样子，然后它的颜色。
You know that this image is related to the symptom you had inside.
你知道这幅图片它是跟你体内的那个曾经有的那个症状有关的。
It it can be something that you know, like a dog or a tree or something.
这个图片呢，它有可能是一些你知道的东西，比如说你的狗啊，你的树啊，或者其他的东西。
Or it could be something totally new with a new size and color, something that you never saw before.
因为它也有可能是一个其他的完全崭新的东西，它的形状或者它的颜色都没有见过。
Pay attention in the features, in the size, the colors.
然后注意它的这个形状是什么？比如说它的大小啊，它的宽度啊。
If it's small or if it's big.
它是很小的，还是很大的？
If it has any sound.
它是否会发出声音？
If you feel something about it.
如果你感觉到关于它的一些东西的话。
And now I want you to ask the symptom in front of you.
现在呢，我想问你的这个症状，你面前的症状有问题。
What are you trying to communicate to me?
你想试图跟我沟通的到底是什么？
When I feel that thing, whatever it is.
当我感觉到那个事情的时候。
What are you trying to tell me, to show me?
那当我感到那个图像的时候，你到底在试着向我展示什么呢？你在试着想告诉我什么？
What I am not paying attention that I should pay attention?
我曾经应该注意到什么东西，而我一直忽略了呢？
Okay. And open your mind
现在
to any answer that would come to you.
所以现在睁开你们的眼睛，然后问任何你们浮现出来的问题。
You basically ask the question, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to tell me?
你们也可以问一些
What are you trying to do? What are you trying to tell me with the symptom?
所以你
Through
们
the symptom.
就是你们可以问那个症状，你在试着告诉我什么？你在试着做什么呢？
And open your mind for an answer.
然后睁开眼睛寻找这个答案。
You might have an inner dialogue or intuition.
你有可能在内部其实有了一个跟自我的对话，也有可能出现了一个直觉。
Think about that. Consider that, whatever it is.
去想象它，去想，去思考一下它，然后去考虑一下它，然后不论它是什么。
Okay? Now I want you to imagine that you are floating to the ceiling. You are just kind of having an out-of-the-body experience of floating out of your body.
所以现在呢，我希望你们想象你们现在浮起来、飘起来，然后飘到这个天花板上。
And from the ceiling, you can see yourself.
而在那个天花板上呢，你可以看见这个下面的你自己，
And you can see the symptom in front of you.
你也可以看到你面前的这个症状。
All you have to do is to observe you and the symptom.
所有你需要做的呢，就是把你和这个症状分开。
That's what we call a contrastive analysis, comparative analysis. You compare what you see in yourself and what you see in this image in front of you. From the top, you're seeing both there, down there.
所以这就是我们所说的一个对比的分析，就是我们来看这个你面前的症状，还有在天花板上你看到的这个你和你的症状之间做一个对比。
Just observe. Observe you, observe the symptom.
仅仅就是把这两个之间拆开，把你们两个分开。观察这两个东西。
Now, we are going to do an experiment.
现在我们要做一个实验。
You are going, when I count to 3, 1, 2, 3,
你们将数1、2、3。
you're going down again,
当我数1、2、3的时候，你们就从天花板上下来。
but instead of going to your body,
但并不是直接进入你自己的身体，
you're going to the symptoms body, looking at you.
你进入到你这个症状的身体里，然后看你自己。
It's an experiment. Let's see what happens.
这是一个实验，看看会发生什么。
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
1、2、3，
You go inside of the symptom. You are the symptom now.
你现在进入到你这个症状的体内，
Looking at you.
你现在就是那个症状，看你自己本身。
I'm going to pretend that you are the symptom now.
我会希望你们，我会假装你们现在就是这个症状，
So I'm going to ask you,
所以我将会问你这个，我将会问你一些问题，
you are the symptom.
你们就是这个症状。
What are you trying to communicate to that person in front of you?
你想跟那个你面前的那个人沟通的是什么呢？
When you cause the headache or the low self-esteem,
当你制造了那个头疼，当你制造了那个低自尊的时候，你到底想沟通的是什么？
what are you trying to communicate to that person in front of you?
你到底想跟你面前的这个人沟通的什么呢？
What's important that that person wasn't understanding so far?
那个人到目前为止，他没有领悟到哪些重要的事情？
And open your mind to answers.
那睁开你的答案，睁开你的眼睛，寻找这个答案。
When you cause the low self-esteem or the headache or whatever the symptom is,
那些你称作头疼，或者是那些低自尊的这些症状，
what are you trying to do? What are you trying to communicate to that person?
你想做的，你正在做的，你正在试图去做的到底是什么？你想要跟那个人沟通什么？
See if you can identify at least one or two things that you are trying to communicate to that person.
试试看你是否能找出那么，比如说1、2个答案，那么1、2件事情是你想跟那个人沟通的。
How could you communicate it in a healthier way, in another way, in another healthier way?
你能不能以另一个更加健康的方式和那个人沟通呢？
Let's say that I have an intuition that I am having headaches because I need to rest.
比如说，有一个直觉就是，我有一个直觉就是，我有头疼的症状，是因为我需要休息。
How could I rest without having that symptom?
我如何才能既休息了又没有那个头疼的症状？
In other words, how could I deal with the situation in a healthier way?
换句话说，就是我如何才能以一个更加健康的方式处理这件事情呢？
See if you can identify at least 3 healthier ways to deal with the problem instead of the symptom.
试着看能不能找出至少3个，能不能找出至少3个更加健康的这个处理这些你生活情景的方式，而不是这些症状。
And imagine yourself in your life
然后想象呢，你在你的生活中的那个你自己，
dealing with a problem
在处理这个问题，
in these new ways, the healthier ways.
以这个新的方式，这个更加健康的方式。
And see if it changed something today.
看看他在今年有没有改变一些事情。
And now float again
那现在呢，慢慢再重新的飘上去，
out of your body again.
离开你的身体，
and see if there is any change.
看看是否有任何的改变发生。
When you look at your body down there,
当你看到在下面的那个你的身体的时候，
I wonder if
我在猜
you feel changes.
你是否感觉到了变化。
When you look at the symptom now,
当你现在看你的这个症状的时候，
I wonder if
我在猜
it's different now.
它是否已经不同了。
What changed in your experience?
在你的这份体验中，到底是什么改变了？
And now we're going to return to your body,
现在呢，我们要慢慢回到你的身体，
and I'm going to ask you, what changed? What changed in your experience?
那我想问你们，就是在你们的这份体验中，什么改变了？
I'm not going to tell you
我不会告诉你，
that it's changing forever now,
它从此开始会永远的改变。
but I'm asking you, what's different?
但是我在邀请你去回答，就是什么不同了？
Now you can open your eyes if you still have it closed. And I'm going to ask you, our friend there, hello? You can open your eyes now. Hello, are you okay? How are you feeling now after that experience?
所以在那个体验之后，你感觉怎么样？
When you think about those things
当
you
你
were feeling before,
当你想起你
did anything change for you? Is it any better?
会有，就是会意识到一些其实在内心里隐隐约约就知道的事情。
Yes, I think I can realize something that actually I know before inside.
Did you learn something from this experience?
我觉得像一个种子，可能还需要继续有一个过程，但是那个种子已经种下。
I think it's like a seed. It's just a seed that put into my heart, and I think it will grow in the future.
And now that you know that, do you think you can do something about it for the best?
所以现在你既然知道了，那你可以做哪些其他的事情来达到最好的状态？
知道我有一些矛盾，就一方面我知道，就是当我自己更加就是有行动力的行动起来的时候，就会改善。但另外一方面，我好像总是就是在某一个节点总是会就因为自己的不自信而卡住。
Actually, I think there is a conflict here. And on one side, I know that if I take more action, I will get better. And on the other side, when I'm taking action, I always cut off because of my unconfident.
Yes, what I advise you is to think about that, because the aim of this exercise is so that you can think more about your inner processes.
我想你们考虑到这些，的确是非常有智慧的，因为我们这个体验的过程就是，我们这个体验的目的就是帮大家去体会你内心那个工作的过程。
Does anyone here would like to share anything? What was your experience?
你的体验是什么？
我的那个症状是，就是我经常会对自己达不到自己的那个要求，感觉到这个不舒服。
My symptom is that I always feel uncomfortable because I cannot reach the goal I set to me.
But after you talked about that with the symptom, what changed for you?
然后当我进入到我的症状的那个自我里面，我首先感受到的是非常的难过，非常的痛心，还有一些生气、愤怒。
So when I get into the symptom, but the first feeling of myself is upset and angry.
And perceiving this, it is an opportunity for what? Now that you are aware of this, what can you do with that?
所以最后我得到的就是把整个过程省略。最后你说要有三个方法。第一个方法就是，我就觉得以后我有这种感觉的时候，我要先照顾这个感觉。
So you ask me to identify 3 approaches, and I think the first is when I have these feelings, I will take care of myself.
然后把那些要求丢到垃圾箱里。
And put the request I set for myself, put them into the trash.
And when you think about doing that, open space to other things now, how much better you trying to feel? That's the question.
所以当你意识到这些的时候，你觉得你就为其他的那个想法留出了空间。那现在你觉得？
所以我现在感受到第一个，我就是有一种感动，然后第二个就是很舒服。
Now I feel I'm a little moved by this, and I feel very comfortable.
有一种整合的感觉。
I feel that I put all myself together.
Thank you very much. This is an opportunity so that you can stop repeating the old program, let's say.
这个感觉每个人都相同。说不出来。就是因为我刚才也有一个一个体验，我是不是可以分享啊？
I also have an experience inside myself and can share them. She has a feeling inside herself, and she wants to share them.
Okay. And how do you feel about this experience after you did the process?
我就刚才按照这个程序，就是想到我现在目前最困惑我的就是一个饮食的问题。每当我想到一些就是说一些其他问题，我就会通过食物来感到暂时的平静。我经常会犯这个那个问题。但是刚才按照这个。
So the symptom that most the symptom that most bother me is that my diet. When I have any symptoms, I always eat a lot of things. And, I think this is the food can make me calm down. I think this is the most symptoms I have.
And now can you think about other ways to deal with that after the exercise?
所以做了这个练习之后，你有想到一些其他的方法来处理这件事情吗？
那好像我跟那个就是我比较喜欢吃那个面包哈，一种情景是我在那个面包面前，我想着它，看着它，盯着它；另一个好像我在上面看着另一个我，是这样一个分别。
So I think the image inside myself is the bread that I always eat, and when I float on the ceiling, I see the bread in myself.
And now, you think you can start dealing with this in another way?
所以现在觉得你可以以另一个方法来另一个方式来处理这个问题。
我这个没有，我明显感到好像还没有处理就是那个怎么的方法，没有处理那个方法。但是我看到我那个就是这个不正常的一个就是那个关系跟那个食物。
Actually, I think I did not come up clearly with the ways that I deal with this, the relationship, I relationship between I and food.
Okay, thanks for sharing. It's very important. I know that all of you had experiences, and I want to explain the technique. Can you retrocede first? Anyone else want to share anything that's important? Please.
当我看到了我的那一团，像是一个彩色的球，在堵在这个心口这个地方的时候，那个焦虑的样子。
I think I can say a colorful ball that it is in my heart and it.
强烈是吗？
就是堵在心口。
哦 ，stuck there， ball is stuck in my
Yeah, stuck there, stuck in my heart, and I feel anxious.
And now, after the exercise, do you see things in a better way, or can you start imagine other ways to deal with that?
所以那这个通过这个练习之后，你有没有就是有一个其他的思考的方式？
当我跳出我的身体去看到它的时候，当我跳离身体去看到我和我的那个焦虑的那个症状的时候，我发现当我看到它的时候，它的那个焦虑的程度就已经开始在下降。
So I think the image before me is my anxious, and when I say that, when I jump into myself, my body, and I see the relationship between me and my anxious, when I say them, the anxious just reduced.
That's great.
但是我不知道如何让这个球离开我。
But I don't know how to let the colorful ball to let it leave me.
The important thing is that this exercise invites you to think in other ways.
最重要的就是我们这个练习呢，它在邀请你以另一个方式来思考。
With my clients, in my practice,
在我的与我的那个来访者的实践中呢，
after this exercise,
在这个练习之后，
we start to debate on how can we deal with things in another way in the future, because the person starts to think differently.
因为这个人他开始以一个不同的方式来思考，所以我们就开始讨论，在未来我们要怎么更好的去处理这件事情，以一个另一个方式。
But you start a process of changing.
但是其实这就表示你开始了一个改变的旅程。
Because most of us keep repeating the same pattern and the anxiety or whatever, repeating. And now you can see things in another way, have another experience.
因为我们大多数人呢，我们其实在不停的重复同一个模式，比如说你的焦虑或者其他的症状。那现在呢，我们可以以另一个方式开始思考。
So you had a question?
你有什么问题？
我想问一个有关技术方面的，可以吗？咨询方面的。
So I want to ask a question about the tech.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what we are going to do now, is to summarize the technique.
OK。那么在这个多重抽离的这个技术里面，当我用人本的取向去用的时候，它会从一个状态跳到另外一个状态，就是我在跟这个人相遇的时候，突然变成了一个旁观者，去指导他从不同的角度去看到这个来访者。在使用多重抽离这个技术的时候，我就会从在人本取向里面如果用这技术，我就会从这个状态中出来，到达另外的一个位置，另外的一个旁观者，而不是跟他在一起。
So when I'm using as a humanistic psychologist, therapist, when I'm using this technology, I think I'm rather to be an observer, and I will say beside the client and to see himself doing this process.
Yeah, what I say is that it's an option you don't have to do this necessarily. If you want to do this, it's another tool to help.
所以我觉得这个可能是一个个人的选择，你不必就是一定要这么做，就是这是其中的一个工具。
就是我很好奇的一点是，老师是怎么把人本主义跟 NLP 的这个技术结合在一起？因为每当我去融合的时候，我总会觉得不一样，总会跳出来。
So what I'm curious about is how can you connect the NLP and the humanistic therapy together? Because when I try to use this terminology, I always jump out of the class inner world, and I cannot be. It's a way that I cannot be in his world.
Well, I think that it's all of us as psychologists should decide how we want to work with the client.
当然，我想我们所有的心理学家、心理治疗师都有权利选择我们想要怎么跟这个来访者一起工作。
In my experience as a psychologist, when I use this kind of technique,
然后从我作为一个心理治疗师的这个经验来说呢，当我用这个技术的时候，
it helps the process to go faster, and the client starts to think about the process of what's happening.
它帮助我们这个咨询的过程变得更快，然后来访者能够更快的去考虑，就是说他的那个思考的过程是什么。
I see that humanistic psychology helps the client to have autonomy and about how to deal with the problems in general.
然后一般上我知道那个人本主义心理学家呢，他会帮助这个来访者